SRS GT3 Season 1 at Spa-Francorchamps in wet, has some rain, and we'll be here for a 90-minute race instead of the usual standard 60 minutes. This is Tier 2 that we are spectating, and there is not too many difference in the engines that I've noticed. Most of the grid are running V8s. Mostly naturally aspirated. There is a flat 6 as well, and then we do have a twin turbo V6, which is NSX, which is looking great. That Repsol, really nice. And then we have the mighty Corvette behind it, who's just trying to get past. There's there. We're just waiting for the start off and qualifying. And I am going to check who this person is that has commented. Let's have a look. Okay. That might have just been the fact that we were on board with the V12 Aston. I'll try and change it now. I think it's this one. I'm not too sure. I'll just turn these down as well, just in case. Right, hopefully that's alright. Hopefully that is okay. Now we've resolved the issue. Hopefully it should be a very competitive grid. In the recent races it has been the Costa cars, which are also working with the Sweden Motorsport guys. Obviously they're leading the championship. Both cars doing very well in the Mercedes GT3. Such a nice car to drive and also to listen to. They sound amazing in real life, just insanely good. However, looks like Superboy is trying to get within the mix of the two Mercs and has spun it at the bus stop. He's only 5 tenths off done, but we can't take these results now as the actual finishing qualifying results. I do apologise for the loud sound effects. It's always like this. On the exit to the pits, there we are, we're sorted. Doug comes out first. As he makes his way down to a Rouge, right here. The Merc is very quick in the straights, on the straight side. Especially with the naturally aspirated engine, it gives a speed constant, whereas with the twin turbo you'll expect it to accelerate but fall out, will fall off when it comes to top speed. It is a very long lap Spa, usually just when it's dry conditions anyway, but with it being wet and especially on real grip settings, it is to be expected that we will be within the 2 minutes 35 seconds, maybe even 36, but that might be tier 1 pace. Probably looking at 30 seconds, high 30 seconds, low 38s here. So just before the start of the laps, we'll go through the grid. Mercedes of Doug Barrow, who is leading the pack out on the outlap. You have Bouchelot driving the Porsche GT3, the best sounding GT3 in my opinion. Just love that plastic engine, such a nice sounding car. We have one of 2 Corvettes, I want to say. And speaking of the other Corvettes, if the boy comes through, just after this, then we have a V8 of a Ferrari being driven by Luke. Then we have the second Mercedes custom racing team of Hair Racing. Wonder how come he's quite late getting out. Maybe he's just looking to let everyone put their laps in first. Then we have the V12 Aston, which is also a very, very nice sounding car with the Red Bull camo livery of last year, I think it is. And then we have the Repsol Honda NSX, or Acura NSX. And then, oh, we do have a third Corvette, sorry if you're not noticing that. That is Iapes, who is actually racing for Winding Road Racing, which is interesting, didn't realise that. So let's go on board with a lap from Iapes as we go up to La Source. Not going as wide as he could do. Takes a nice entry. It's a good exit as well. It's down the hill to Eau Rouge. This is one of the highest corners, like to go up. It is quite steep, and he goes over Radion. He's on the Keble Street. They've gone to Le Con and Melbourne, which is a quick chicane. Just overcooks it, that slight bit going into the right-hander, unfortunately, through Melbourne. Keeps it tight. Could run a little bit more wide, but it's alright. Going to Bruxelles, which is a really long hairpin, and it can drag you a little bit wide if you're not concentrating, or you could end up hitting the curb and Brunoni. Not using all of that exit. Very interesting. Maybe I was just taking it a bit cautious. As it goes through Q1. Yeah, he's just taking this off a bit cautious, but we'll carry on. As we go through a long chicane, gotta make sure that you just keep your foot in there. Don't put a bit too power on, and don't not put enough power on, otherwise you're just going to lose time there. Go through one of the 2 important right-handers when you're on to the long straight leading up to Blanchimont. As the times are now coming in, Blanchimont going fast is with the 2:30 quite a lot of lift with a dab in the brakes from the Iapes and going to Blanchimont. Braking around about the 100 metre board here to make sure you can get you stopped for the bus stop. Gets it stopped perfectly, a bit of sun in the eyes, just gets that bit of understeer coming out of the corner, and that is a lap of Spa-Francorchamps. That is a 2:43, puts him in 7th, I think. Bar and Luke might have had a considerable amount of issues through there, whether it's a spin or maybe just not confident in the conditions. But we'll go to Bouchelot, who's currently wrestling his car through Malmedy, and he's just behind Doug. Brakes yeah, I just thought that he was going to overcut that corner, I should say. And he did keep it well to keep the speed going through it, even though he did have to hit the brakes a little bit more. making that engine roar as it goes to not Blanchard, sorry, Buon. You know, keeping that speed up, it's going 110 on exit, and it's powering towards that Merc, which I don't think Doug is currently up on his lap time. I think he's down, but we'll just see that as it goes through the sector split just before Stablo. Oh no, he isn't, he's just up by 5 minutes a second. And big moment coming out of Stablo there, but hopefully that will save his power to keep him going, keep the top speed that he does have through the corner, but use the entry, though he doesn't use it on the curb, doesn't go into a half spin. Like braking, does he use the whole of the curb? Yes he does. With the GT3 cars you can proper send it over the curbs and the cars won't get too unsettled. You just can't set the mic with it, and Doug actually goes slower, so that big mistake without Stablo cost him a potential improvement on his lap time. And Mo goes quicker with a 2:39, must be to P3. Or I think he was in P3, sorry, but he just improves, what's him, 6/10. However, Hairraiser has gone quicker than Mo. He did a huge improvement of about 8/10 that lap, and he's now in front by almost 2/10. Superboy looking to get that slipstream, throw a quick lap to help him improve. Bar gets a 2:43.3, which is issues right now. Hairraiser going through this section through Radion, and he goes onto the Kemal straight using all that power. Let's have a look at this speed Superboy's going, just going up with that slipstream as well. But no, that stage just keep the gap, and Superboy is purple to the first sector, which means that he's fastest out of everyone in the first sector. He's keeping it very neat through the Com and Melody as it comes to shells. Got to keep it close to the corner. The wet and the dry, which just lets it run wide a little bit towards the exit. But it's alright, he's keeping it nice and relaxed through the track. He's not pushing the car too much. But he's also, he's keeping gas on to make sure that he's not losing that slipstream from Hairraiser, because that might be crucial on exit of Stavlo up towards the bus stop. He did have a little bit of a squirmy exit there, but he's keeping the speed up, just feathering the throttle, hitting the apex absolutely perfectly. Getting a little bit of a wobble on exit, but it's fine. Just keeping it using most of the ripple strip. He's up by 2.1 seconds. Just getting a bit of a wobble on exit there, but yet again, he's still getting the exits perfectly. You know, just pushing that car that little bit more to try and keep within the slipstream as that's Mo off. Doesn't take as much as the Astros are going in, and that is, wow, nice qualifying finish. Didn't expect it to go so fast, but we'll stay on board with Superboy, who looks like he might be able to improve massively, as there is a 3.3 second gap towards Mo as he goes faster than Mo by 66 thousandths of a second. What a lap to recover that much time. Absolutely amazing. He starts on the second row of the grid next to Hairraiser. Mo comes across and cannot improve, unfortunately. And Bar just spins it across the line, does a 2:41. AFS right behind him, can he improve? 41, 42. He doesn't go quicker. And we have Luke, hopefully looking to go a bit faster, which I think he will do. Yes, he definitely will. UTAP coming over. looking at it, he's made a mistake, so he's not going, that's super unfortunate for him. But your grid is as follows: Mouchelot in the 911 on pole with the 2 Mercedes behind, and then there's Superboy put in that amazing lap to just go ahead of Bo. But yeah, what a lap to get him up by 3.5 seconds. Big gap separating 5th to 6th by about 2.5 seconds. But the most crucial part is, especially the wet, is the start. You can be the biggest gainer or the biggest loser in this. As we go, and it's lights out, and there's a Honda that I think might have just jumped the start. It's so unfortunate, but Mouchelot gets a great getaway. Hair raiser, just fending off Bo. Bo squeezes out Supra. Iapes just hits Supra a little bit. As we're going down the hill into Eau Rouge. Bo's got a fantastic run, using that same power, just bounced out of it, just very smart of it. I'm thinking that we might get a really good run going into the Cobb, especially with that power. It could even be 3 wide. As Hair Raiser is absolutely sailing down the straight. It is 3 wide, oh my god. Doug just turns and puts Hair Raiser a little bit, just squeezing him towards the apex. Doug gets a little bit of a dodgy run out of the Cobb. He's still single wide. Boy just pushing that a little bit more to try and keep with him. Bo does send it on Mouchelot, and I think that is a place up. Yes, it is. He's now in 3rd, Mouchelot. Oh, just a bit of side launch happening there. Mouchelot does go wide. This is just giving the chance to the Mercedes drivers to just extend their gap, which on this substrate in this game is quite hard to get back in, especially when you've got the lights of 2 Mercedes, which just power. So just defending Mouchelot. Superboy does send it up the inside. Mouchelot gets hit wide. Oh, Superboy just driving the car too much. In about 20 minutes time, I have some really bad tyres. Whatever he can to close this 1.6 second gap. I think a really good exit for Mouchelot to put him on track to get in that position back, which will mean he'll have to go up the inside of Blanchard, especially on this game. It could be a daring move, and he keeps it around the outside for Superboy. Just gets squeezed off. Oh my god, what a defence from Superboy. And Mouchelot does send it up the inside. Does it get turned across? No, just keeps it up bar with the switchback as he goes around the outside of the Porsche. He gets pinned to the corner, like a little bit of a roadblock, but somehow Mouchelot has come out a lot better than both Mark and Superboy did. Is he going to go around the outside and get this move stuck? No, he can't. As Luke and Utah are still battling for that second to last spot. I think Utah's got an exceptional run going into Eau Rouge. Just backs on, very smart of him. With the Honda power, and that is a mistake for Luke. Unfortunately, he hasn't got off too much time. He's not damaged the car in the slightest. And there we go, we've now got on the bottom, out there, ready to go in. Just under 6 tenths to the gap with Bo right on their tail. He's making sure that he's catching and sticking with these. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw Bo trying to win this race. He's got some mega pace. Doug just probably not getting all his way, just getting the foot on the pitch. It's okay, but as long as you're not going in too deep, because then that can cause issues. And then when we get very good to see. Really hoping that he can push and get to Superboy. Let's really hope that he gets to go for a top 5 position in this race. There's Bo, just starting to lose a bit of time on the straight, especially because areas that is in the slipstream. All the time game for Bo, I think he's in the slipstream. That is a corner cut, potentially might be a penalty. I'm not sure. Let's have a look yet. No, it isn't. That is very surprising to see. And thanks, Tice, for telling me that. That is amazing to hear. Because I've actually got 1, 2, 3, which you can tell, or tell by my name. It's SMM Simon's team. But what about the non-biased point of view, which is what I'm thinking here, as the leading pair is speaking motorsports guys, are doing a stellar job today, but being both with this, as he was catching, thought about 3 tenths from the first chicane already. He is perfect first sector by 6.5 tenths, whereas Michelot is also closing in, so we'll see multiple fastest laps being put in here by Bo and Michelot. Just losing the time is Superboy. Oh, you know what? Amazing that is. And I think I'm being caught, so I'll just leave that. What a time to return back to the action with Bo right on the back of Hairraiser, who has lost quite a lot of time to Doug. And is Bo going to send it up the inside right now? No, he isn't. He's just going to be patient, which is very smart from Bo. Just keeping on the back, not trying to make any rash moves to lose time. As Michelot absolutely pushing the hell out of this Porsche. He's done the fastest lap by 4.5 tenths. He's defo looking for that comeback drive to make sure that he can retake that podium position and possibly even the win, as he did start on pole. However, the Porsche is good for the corners, but not on the straights, whereas the V8 naturally aspirated cars are really good on the straight. They've got really good straight line speed, which is also why Hairraiser looks to stay in that second position. He just can't get the overspeed from Bo. However, he has sent it on the inside. Is he going to go deep? Or is he going to keep? Oh, he just... Oh, what a move, what a move. Good braking from Bo. Make sure he doesn't overshoot it and get a bit of oversteer on entry, but it did help him to keep that inside line, get a good exit. And now Hairraiser has got to look back at Michelot, because I don't think he quite has the pace compared to Doug and Bo at this point. But hopefully Bo will be looking at Hairraiser to slow Michelot that little bit extra, just so he can push, protect this first spot off front, get a bit of a gap, and then just keep the pace, as he is doing a low 38, or did do a low 38 last lap, which he's 6 tenths, 7 tenths slower than Moushelot, but you know, he might just be trying to make sure that he make these as fuel last, as the fuel does go a lot quicker than the tyres, especially in the wet. But even when the tyres are on about 20% wear, it's really hard to keep him in that optimal range of doing the consistent quick laps, which I think we should be shredding the tyres. Not on the display, doesn't say that he shredded it, but he's making sure that he's tearing the circuit up, pushing to the absolute limit as he goes through Blanchimont, just absolutely nailing every corner that he's doing to make sure that he can catch Hair Raiser, which he is. Hair Raiser currently just serving his penalty going into each braking zone, which there's no designated penalty serving spots on in this league. So going into corners, we'll see many take their penalties. Most notorious spots for getting penalties on this track is through Radion. It's very easy to cut it, especially in the wet, just because you might get a little bit of understeer going on, or even just getting a bit of oversteer, forcing you to cut the corner a little bit. Also, maybe going wide as well, another corner, maybe like Blanchimont, or even out of Melbourne, that we are to right now, go on for the battle for first. Mo putting the pressure on in his Corvette, and Doug just trying to keep it on the track, make sure that he's making that Mercedes look as wide as possible. No overtaking opportunities going into shells, as that would be quite surprising. However, in F1 race before, Travis did manage to make it stick around the outside. Hopefully they shall be learning a thing or two here, going into the lane by making the move stick, and Mo goes up the inside on Puan. Is he going to keep it there? No, just gets the better line, better grip on the outside. Offline is usually the best chance of grip, especially in the wet. Both just not taking the curve as much, just using a little bit of the sort of middle-ish part of the track, and I've just realised that Luke did disconnect, which is it's really sad to see, but you know, that's the harsh reality of virtual racing, is internet dying on you. Everyone's had it once before, and especially when you're in a good position, it's heartbreaking. However, as we go in through Blanchimont, we're probably looking for a good run out of this corner to get Doug going into the bus stop. So I think he's just not got the run. However, he's going for it. Is he far enough alongside though? No, he isn't. Doug just closes the door. All of these drivers now starting to get within the same pace of each other. Doug doing any 38.6 last time out. Mo doing a 38.3 or 38 knots, just 2 seconds separating the top two. Hair Raiser dropping off by about 3 tenths, and Moushelot is 2 tenths quicker than Hair Raiser, so they're all starting to even out. Maybe even trying to just stretch that gap. But apart from that, everyone looks to be staying in the same position, apart from Doug and Mo. It's now got a 5% penalty, which might circle into this corner. Mo manages, he's just giving Doug this squeeze and pinch to the inside. Does he make the move stick? No, he's just gone off the track. He's started to squeeze Doug out, and he's made the move stick on the exit from the corner. And he's now leading through Melbourne, and nice. Oh, Doug's just with a bit of oversteer on the exit, maybe even putting the car down on the 2 knot. As Moushelot is trying to make the move on Hair Raiser. Hair Raiser just not getting it hooked up properly. Hopefully, once he starts to understand a bit more of the grip out there, he starts to bring it together. which he is doing a stellar job to hold on to the absolutely the absolute steam train that is Bouchelot, just pushing that car to its absolute limits. And I think he has got a great exit here to possibly go up the inside. He does dummy it, goes back to the racing line. Airraiser was serving his there just a little bit. Airraiser just defending Bouchelot a little bit. Does get a little bit of a cutback. Bouchelot has got a really good run on Airraiser, just blasting through. Nonchalant, he wants a chance of diving on the inside of Airraiser, which I think he has got the speed right now. However, at the end of this straight, Airraiser just has that immense top speed of the Mercedes, and Bouchelot doesn't make a move. As we go to Bo, who has started to stretch the gap out to 1.3 seconds, and that is a 2:38.1 by Bo, and also Bo's fastest lap is 2:37.5, and that is Bouchelot making the move. It was a half-hearted attempt, however, I think he's got a better run coming out of the corner. Doug just giving the slipstream to Bouchelot, which is going to help him when they go up over boost. Are they going to keep it inside? Bouchelot, yeah, he does back out. Better to try and set your move up going into Le Combe, which is what he's trying to do, but Airraiser has to slipstream on board, which is just going to make it ever so hard for Bouchelot to try and overtake. Who does send it going up the inside, that's broke too late. No, Airraiser just keeps it hung around the outside. Absolutely amazing move, but Bouchelot has got the switchback. He's going to keep it held around the outside, helping. What? No! Airraiser takes the penalty in the worst time too, and he's unfortunately lost the place because of it. Meanwhile, let's go and have a look at how Superboy is doing. He does have Bar on the back of him. Just Superboy just not keeping up with the pace that he's been showing in the qualifying, putting him up into P4. Bar getting quicker as the race goes on. Done 18 minutes so far of our 1.5 hour race, as it is the big endurance round. Every third round is the big endurance. Really hoping to see Bar try and put on the move to get up into P5. Meanwhile, Iopez just keep it with his pace, not pushing too much, just making sure that he keeps the car on the track, hoping for maybe some spins up front. And speaking of a spin, I think that is Superboy, yes. Superboy has spun on the exit of Huon. Such a shame there, but it has promoted Bar, who is deciding that he wants to do Formula Drift rather than GT racing, which I don't think is going to work for his tyres. And Bar just maybe just not being confident in the conditions right now. But however, he has got the P5. He's got a 50.8 second gap to Superboy. He's now being hunted down by Iopez, as we were saying, looking for someone to spin. He's 7/10 up on his time, so he has started to get a good idea of the conditions. Just pushing that ever bit more to try and get the max out of the car. UTAP probably just struggling in that Honda NSX. It is not great on the straights, but through the corners, being a mid-engine car, has got that little bit of oversteer, which possibly helping him get through. The corner's a bit quicker than the front engine cars, which are currently leading the pack. However, Bouchelot in the mid-engine Porsche is flying the flag for those specific cars. Bo just going deep. Doug having a bit of a moment. Bo just pushing Doug out. Doug trying to keep the power on to keep ahead of his teammate. And Bouchelot around the outside and then helping him. What a move he's done there. Will Bo go for it into Bruchel's? He is. He's keeping held on the inside. Just squeezing Michelin out for no name. And that was great defending from Bo. Maybe just forced Doug out or too late and breaking Doug. But other than that, Doug's still on the circuit, just like the man else driving. That's just an unfortunate overplace where he has tried to defend. Or overtakes, should I say. Henry has now got Doug. He's putting on a charge to Mouchelot, who's getting held up by Bo, who has got the lead going through the chicane, but has managed to keep it in front of the Porsche. Just getting the car to go a bit wayward. But Doug gets a nice run going up to Blanchimont. He should be able to keep it in front. However, I think Mouchelot has just got that better run on the exit. He's now pushing Camaro. Wow, pushed the Corvette, going through Blanchimont, and he has given the time. Yes, he has. He has a simple amount of time. Just got a hair with him. Nope, as we are still single file. Oh, Bo. Oh, we're having a bit Constantina effect right here. Bo did get a moment coming out through the bus stop, which has put Michelot onto the back of him, possibly in the first place position. And Karen did give him a nudge because of it. And Michelot has just outbroken himself. Now, Hair Raiser is trying to overtake second place, which would be great for Bo. To try and hold him up and stop the charge for first place, but Bo just needs to take a little bit more cautiously going through bus stop and on the exits. And unfortunately for Doug, he's just losing time, as you can tell. Look at the tyres compared to the first, second, and third. As Michelot has got a 5-10 penalty, which I think might be already on, going around the outside to the car, though he doesn't. Bo just keeps sitting well defended. He does get on the curb. Michelot tries to just avoid that, took a little bit of his penalty while it's at it. As we do have Superboy coming into the pits, as that Corvette C7 does like to drink its fuel, as well as the other V8 cars, just currently drinking the fuel. If you look at Bo's fuel meter, it's probably got about 10% fuel left, whereas Michelot has got a quarter of the tank left. And Hair Raiser as well, just saving fuel. Doug not so much, as he's been in the lead most of the time up until the last couple of laps. But yeah, Bo possibly going to have to make an extra stop compared to the other guys. As we're 23 minutes in, so looking at it, the time for the pit stops will be about 25 minutes to 30 minutes, depending on the car that they're in. Michelot just makes a small error on exit, taking maybe too much of the corner. Possibly too much, just getting on the grass as well. There is a fighting car going through Stablo. Doug Barrow just on the game, might have overspeed going into the bus stop. But it just depends on how fast you can go from Blanchimont, how much it takes on the entry. Both cars don't take much of the entry, keep it on track, possibly taking a bit too cautiously, but with a race that's an hour and a half long, with an hour and 5 minutes left, it's best to make sure you keep it on this track as Bo goes in and they have got a fresh set of tyres waiting for him. Will he stay on the wets or will he go to the inters? Never mind, just reminded myself what? There's no inters to be used. Consistent pit stop, possibly refueling to full fuel, maybe? Yeah, it's full fuel as we go back to to Bouchelot, who has got a penalty as well, as Hairbase. Yes, he has. She's got that already on. And Doug Barrow, who hasn't, so Doug could be the biggest gainer out of here as drivers ahead, not penalties. Just not making sure he uses all of the entry curve just to keep that car on the track, getting the fastest way through the corner, keeping that mid-apex speed very high to stop the Mercedes cars, both getting him on the exit to power out, and that is just a little bit of a moment from Hairbase. Just struggling to put down the power as well as Doug. With the Mercedes, got high torque, high horsepower, so it is quite a weapon when it comes to corner exits in the wet. Get it right and you have rocketed straight off the corner. If you haven't got it right, you could be sent for an early bath into the wall, and that is race over. However, Hairbase just managed not to bin it, which is very good from both Hairbase and Doug. But I wonder at this current moment, I think Doug does have the pace on Hairbase and might be wanting to be let by. However, if I know two people that love to race, it's definitely these guys. I don't think there will be any team orders here. It's the Costa Racing team, powered by Speed Demon Motorsports. The gap to Mouchelot just sort of stabilising out at about 1 second, with Mouchelot's much quicker pace when trying to as Mouchelot's enter the pits. So as I was saying, as the leaders come into the pits, going for that extra lap compared to Beau, where it's Beau right now, he is going through Blanchimont, using that all the entry curve, making sure that he's pushing the life out of the car, getting 130 on the exit of the corner, especially in this real wet weather with the real grip. Cars ahead will be looking to refuel to the max. Beau looking to push it, which he has, just been pushing it too much. That was really close for comfort there. He could have easily binned it into the start-finish straight wall and not even the opposite end. And that is Mouchelot coming out the pits ahead of Beau. However, Beau has got Hairbase and Doug, but maybe Beau might have the extra speed as he did come out of the corner, possibly a lot better than Mouchelot, which has got a sublime exit. The tyres will be up to 7 compared to Mouchelot. Hopefully, he can take his opportunity now to get that over dive up the inside. However, it is very difficult within these conditions to even try it, and he has gone to send it around the outside. No, he just stays behind, tries to go for a bit of a switchback, possibly. No, he just keeps it settled, keeps the car facing forward, just sniffing the rear window of that Porsche. As we go to Superboy, who has jumped. Oh no, what a second to bar. A 3:05 and a 3:16. Oh, that could be a pit stop error. He might have accidentally clicking too many buttons than what he should have. But that has put Superboy back into P5 and Iapez up into P6. Great seeing that Iapez is, you know, keeping at his pace, what he wants to do, but also making sure that he's gaining places via just keeping it consistent. He might not be the fastest man on the track, but he's doing it his own way, where he's taking his time, he's making sure he stays on the track, and he's doing a great job so far, and can't wait to see where he is come next pit stop. Because Superboy is pushing the car a little bit, could end up getting Iapez if Superboy is trying to push the car, and he has got a 40-second gap towards Hairbase, which, unless you are one of the agents of GT Sport, would be very hard to do, but anything is possible, and I think Superboy is in charge. Let's go back to the lead battle where Bo is keeping that 3/10 gap that he had to Mouchelot. I think he's just got a bit of a dodgy exit. Yes, he has. Losing easily a 10th third every second on this straight, every 2 seconds, which is most important. Mouchelot does get out of slipstream range, which is about 8 tenths. So to be absolutely certain, it's best to get about a second. However, I think Bo has just started to gain that time back. Down into Eau Rouge. Mouchelot pushes the guard up Radion. Apex being about 222. Absolutely lightning quick through there, even in the wet. See these shooting 3 cars across the toll. It's amazing to see. This hair raiser looks like it was giving Doug a little bit of a push. But yeah, I completely missed that Doug got past hair raiser, which I think is his best for the team. Because Doug does seem to have the pace advantage compared to hair raiser by 3/10, which doesn't sound like a lot, but in the race that could be the difference between getting a 2 and 3 or a 3 and 4. As Doug is pushing that car, he's keeping it a lot more stable as well as hair raiser is. Not many of them making it too big of a mistake, not losing anywhere more than a second worth of time, maybe not even a second, maybe 5 tenths is the most anyone's ever lost from a quick mistake. But the pace on the top 3 is insanely similar. It's, you know, if we go from P1, last lap was a third one, I don't believe that. I think this is their first lap. The pit stop and he is 400, so wow, it took me quite a lot of time to think how long, what that unit of time was. But Bo just started to drop off now. Mouchelot looks like a couple of sets to run away with this. He has got 1.5-second gap, which he has to make a pretty big mistake for Bo to try and bring that gap down. Just going a bit deep as Bo into the chicane gives Mouchelot that better run, losing more time, which is about 5 tenths on that final corner. Mouchelot does set fastest lap, and at the moment it looks like Mouchelot is not going to be stopped. He is in a commanding position right now. Doug pushing the gap towards Harry, which is 1.6 seconds, which difference is near around about 1.5 second gap to each other. Nothing really extending. Game all of you louder than voice, I shall sort that out. Bear with me a second, I do apologise. Thought I turned it down. Okay, is this alright, or am I still getting drowned out by the cars? For me, it's quite weird because the car sounds are actually quite quiet now, so I don't know if it is the same for the stream. If you can confirm that, Toby, please. Oh, and I've only just realised that we have missed a big moment from Bo, who has lost quite a considerable amount of time, around about 5 seconds, thanks Toby, who is now correct from pair racing behind. He's just under 3/10 back, and no slipstream from the car ahead means that Bo would be in P4 come the end of this straight through Blanchimont into the bus stop. Air Racer trying to make this move work around the outside of Blanchard. He's just holding the car there. Gets pushed out a little bit. Gets a little bit of a snap on exit. But good defender from Bo, hard racing from the both of them. Just keeps ahead in P3 at the moment. 3-second gap, consistently keeping it there. Just a bit of a wobble on exit, has lost him a few tenths. But good. Starting to lose a lot of time to Michelot. I think Michelot's keeping it in the 20-30 seconds. Yes, he is. Making sure he gets that gap out. Could even be a full pit stop ahead come next pit round. But apart from that, let's go back to the battle of Bo, who we have missed, get overtaken by Hair Racer. Must have been into at less source. But he's now on the back. Bo been making the moves all of today around through Melbourne. Just dummying the move. Hair Racer is defending. Bo not quite getting the apex speed. Just getting a little bit wide on the first corner, possibly just hindering a setup going into Melbourne. But he's managing to keep on the back, possibly push too much, maybe just went a bit wide, possibly even a penalty. Last time Ron was done, he was only 5.1 seconds behind Michelot, he's now 6.6. Second, third and fourth just seem to not have the pace Michelot had, even though they were all basically same speed. Big moment from Dunn coming through P1. As we go back to Hair Racer and Bo, who are now, looks like that is being extended. Just possibly a good line from Bo through the exit of the chicane, putting him right on the back. Who Hair Racer is 1/10 up on his best lap. I think Bo could possibly be even faster than that. Is looking to get the overtaking move done, possibly into the bush stop or even at the source like Hair Racer did. Just trying to keep the throttle in too much there. Has forced him a bit wide and out of slipstream range and has given him a 5/10 penalty. It's not looking good for Bo, who did have a stellar start to this race, did get himself back up to P2, then into the lead for all of about 3 or 4 laps, went into the pits, come out behind Michelot, and since then was trying to control the gap in P2, but a missed incident or a missed mistake has costed him dearly, and now in P4 struggling to get past the Mercedes of Hair Racer. However, we are extending the gap to Superboy by 2 seconds since I last looked. Superboy keeping the consistency of 2:40 in the last few laps, making sure that he does stay ahead of Ipez, who has dropped back a little bit. Bar is also catching and is now starting to keep the pace now, keep that car going straight line, and is only 9 seconds back from Bar, which is great to see. Bar just trying to control the power, control the throttle of the Aston that just wants to just eat away at the tyres, force it into a bit of a moment coming out on the exit. Bit of understeer going through the source. Absolutely planting the throttle, as you can tell. It's screaming at the high revs, bouncing off the rev limiter. But he sails up a rouge of through Radion, making sure that he can carry the speed, which I think he has got an amazing run. A lot better than Iapez. Almost gained by 5/10 before Lecon. 7 tenths up on his time. Glad to see Bart ever improving around this track as we go to Hair Raiser and see if there's any update here. Nope, apart from Bo has started to lose time, so I'm going to have a look at the Tier 1. And it is TSR Black leading from Yere, from Palmer and Tice, and then James Head. So I don't know what's happened, but James is in 5th position, who's actually having a stellar race. Glad to see him in such a high position. Palmer just pushing that little bit more, and Yere looking for the move on TSR Black. Great to see the Sidematch boys in 2nd, 3rd and 4th. Gap's starting to come down from Mo and from Doug, so Mo going faster than both of the cars ahead. Michelot just getting out the gap now to 11 seconds. Into the 36 is his fastest lap. He is only 5 tenths away from the fastest lap in split 1. Just keeping it on the track, keeping it consistent, doing an amazing job. Making sure that he's not getting caught up in incidents. However, that does look scraped, but that might be through a bit of the concertina that did happen about 20 minutes ago going into the bus stop. Doug just gaining on the exit of Pouan into the chicane by about 2 tenths. Doug possibly starting to get a bit faster as the race goes on, trying to push it a little bit more. No, he's just losing the time there. Bit of understeer. Just had to live. Hair Raiser managing the gap to Doug, keeping identical lap times of around 39.4 to 39.6. Hair Raiser just going ever so slightly faster. Both with 5/10 lap time slower last lap. Let's see what the difference is in this lap. By the looks of it, he has gained quite a bit. Just seems to be struggling into the bus stop braking, so losing about 3 tenths. However, he's got a stellar exit. He's getting 4 tenths, and he does a 37.8, which I think is 7 tenths quicker than Hair Raiser Head. So Bo just getting back into his groove, and needs to keep it consistent now if he wants to try and pass Hair Raiser, get back onto the podium, which he can do quite easily, especially with his pace going a lot quicker than Hair Raiser, whose best is only 38 dead. Doug just looking to keep the gap. Second place is the best that he can hope for, unless Michelot makes a huge mistake, and he is 1 and a bit tenths up on his fastest lap. Currently his PB, so it's not purple all round, it's not the fastest lap, the fastest sector of the whole race. Bo and Hair Raiser just seem to be the same through sector 1. Through sector 2, I think Bo just has him by about 2 or 3 tenths, and then the final sector, it's quite hit and miss. Could be Hair Raiser's way, could be Bo's way, just depends how they break into the bus stop. I think that's where the biggest loss or biggest gain is for each driver. They just need to find a way to make it consistent each lap, breaking at the same point, maybe just a little bit later. But it's great to see second, third and fourth all within about 3 to 3.5 seconds. Which come next pit stop could mean they're all back in their little train that they were before. However, Bo is down on about 20% fuel difference compared to the car ahead, which is Hair Raiser. If we go on Doug, he's used a little bit more fuel compared to Hair Raiser. Possibly might get jumped in the pits. We'll be great to see where they come out. Bo could get a undercut when he comes in, because he will have possibly 2 laps of undercut maybe with the fuel. But that means that I think Bo will be on 1 extra stop come the end of the race, which possibly could be the difference between getting P3 or P4. I don't think any of the top 4 are going to be able, or going to be anywhere lower than 5th position unless they do disconnect, which for a commentator's curse, I really hope that doesn't happen. But anyway, Bo closing the gap by a huge amount, by about 9 tenths. I think Bo might just get a penalty for putting that corner, but he is within slipstream range, which you can sell now. Gap closing by about a tenth straight going into the source. Hair Raiser is purple to the first sector, which possibly Bo might be even quicker, as he has gained massively. It all depends on how he can do within the second sector. I think Hair Raiser just went a little bit wide. Bo looking to try and go up the inside, but doesn't. Just showing his car, showing he's there, possibly trying to force Hair Raiser into a mistake. Just power down, make sure he gets a nice run. Keeping it about 4 tenths going into Pua. Nice late apex from Bo. Give him a good run on exit. Bit of aero wash maybe from the car ahead. Goes in a little bit deep, gets a bit slidey on the entry. Whoa, just puts the power down a little bit too much. Just needs to pretend that throttle snaps if he presses it too hard, just to make sure he's patient. Yeah, the gap's opened up to 1.5 seconds again. Unfortunately, he's lost a full second of his fastest lap time. Let's have a look at Doug. Yeah, the gap's still 1.6 seconds. However, I think the gap between Doug and Bouchelot is starting to not be as big per lap, as Doug actually goes faster than his last lap. It's a 37.9. Starting to get ever so quicker the more he drives in these conditions. Nicely controls the throttle on exit and does a 38.5. Look at Bouchelot, who's doing a 37.87 for 2 laps straight, a 2:37.874. That is something you don't see often, but that is very, very good consistency. He is only on 25% fuel, which everyone behind him is on less fuel. Bo looks like he could be in at the end of this lap. Might be worth trying to get a 2-lap undercut, and Hair Raiser makes a huge mistake coming up Radion and has had to forfeit that position. Now this is where Bo really has to push, really get the hammer down to make sure that he can either catch Doug or get a good in lap, so he can get a good out lap as well. Hopefully get Doug, which I think he's definitely capable of. But Doug now needs to be ramping up the pace a little bit. However, he just gets a really bad exit coming out of Melody. It's brush shells and no name is Doug is quite good at. Just loses a bit of time there. Yeah, good run through there for Doug in no name. Or I thought, never mind, he has lost quite bit of time, unfortunately. Bo looks like to be absolutely getting the pedal to the metal just for his in-lap, as his fuel meter has hit red, which means he's got 1 lap left, or just around that, which means he will be coming into the pits come the end of this lap, but has gained on Doug significantly, which could mean he may well get the undercut. 13.2 second gap to Mouchelot now. Mouchelot will get out about 10 seconds behind Doug, I think, which, if he carries up on this pace, the next stint will be a pit stop ahead and possibly even able to make a quick dash for some tyres come the end of the race for a even faster lap on his 36.7, which he's doing an amazing job pushing that car. If Siri wants to interrupt me, I'm gonna lie. But yeah, he's just managing the pace, doing everything right, making sure that he's saving the fuel whilst he's at it, possibly going a lap longer. I mean, Mo's sneaking it out on about 7%, 8% fuel, proper taking it to the max, trying to just rinse every ounce of that fuel tank. I wouldn't be surprised if he does run out of fuel before he comes into the pits. Possibly will have to upshift a bit earlier on the straight, which I think he might be on a lower fuel engine mode, because it's really struggling to get to the 150, which in a Corvette should be quite easily a 155, 160 down the straight, even in the wet. But yeah, must have got it in the fuel lap, but even then, he's still keeping up with Doug, who just had the pace advantage on the straight, but through the corners. Both used to just be that little bit more patient, sticking towards the inside of the apex, making sure that he's holding the tighter line, getting the better exits. Got a really nice exit there. However, he is on ultra fuel saving mode. My god, he's probably got about 3% in it, which I wouldn't be surprised if he ran out of fuel come the bus stop chicane, which might harm his chances of potential top 3 position. But this is a risk that he needs to take, as he does have to make an extra pit stop, maybe even a spotting dash towards the finish. As he's on probably about 1 or 2%, which this is cutting it fine right here. We'll stick on board with him to see if he does run out of fuel. It's getting ever so close. Literally is running on fumes. There is no fuel in that car at all. I won't be surprised if he upshifts it and keeps it in 6th through Launchman. No, he drops the gear. He's got an early upshift now. No, he just keeps it ahead. There we are. No fuel in the car, I don't think. Oh, he keeps it ahead of Hair Raiser. Everyone into pit stops, even with an earlier pit stop compared to the other. Mo has managed to push it. However, I think he will come out about 2 or 3 seconds behind, with the fact that the cars ahead have saved fuel and is looking at possibly having to push this whole stint, making him lose a lot more fuel than he probably wants to. But if he can save fuel, keep up the pace, possibly even go a bit faster, then he has a very good shot at getting P3. Doug just fueling up to 97 and is now behind Hair Raiser, who I think has took... Oh, Hair Raiser looking to make a splash and dash towards the finish, possibly even tyres as well. But this is good for Bo, because that means that he knows now that Hair Raiser is having an extra stop, whereas the other guys possibly, just maybe, can push the car towards the end, but that would require some fuel saving, which in the rain is not that hard to do. Just putting it into fuel mode 3, possibly through and on the exit of corners, just using map 1 as like a ERS type of thing, just to give him that speed on the straight. But yeah, we've stopped with a commanding lead out front of 14 seconds. It's getting ever bigger. Then it's Hair Raiser behind, who is slower than Doug, but with this lighter fuel load, hopefully can start to push to close this gap ahead. But not with a mistake like that, just going a bit wide, going through Poo on Mo 6 seconds behind. That's how much just 7 litres of fuel can be when it comes to the difference. However, to be fair, Hair Raiser did fuel up less. I'm quite surprised that he's only out about 4 seconds. I mean, not 4 seconds, 4 tenths in front of Doug. It's quite surprised me, that. As Hair Raiser becomes under attack from his teammate, he is trying to look around the outside, but no, just goes a bit wide, just doesn't have the grip. Hair Raiser getting to serve his penalty, just missed where he picked that up from. Possibly No Name, didn't really check, didn't really see. And Doug just gets a huge moment coming out of the bus stop, which possibly, even though Hair Raiser is going for an extra stop, he will be on the charge on the fresher tyres and lighter fuel. But little mistakes like this could be the difference between P2 and P3, which we could well see. Speaking of difference, Bo has brought the gap down to 5.3 seconds, which was 9/10 improvement since the last lap. As he has got a 2-10 penalty, but that can be easily served going into the bus stop. Almost a minute separates P4 and 5 Superboy. Just managing to keep this gap. Looks like he has been having some issues, not been able to keep the car on track. Maybe he's spun it again, I don't really know. Ayapez keeping at his pace of around about 2-minute 44, 45. Who will be in the pits at the end of this. Superboy will be pitting again, doing the extra stop strategy with Ayapez? No, I think Ayapez has been saving much more fuel, especially he's doing about 30 minutes per tank, which if he fuel saves like mad, I think he could do very well in getting the car to the end. Bar has gone past him after a huge mistake before that had cost him a lot of time, losing 40 seconds in total, possibly due to pit error or a crash somewhere. Would like to know what happened to him on Discord later. As we go back to Hair Raiser and Doug Barrow, who's starting to lose time. 2.3 seconds the gap. 5.2 seconds is the gap that is sticking, which is staying right now to Mo, but ever so slightly the gap is coming down. Mo just keeping about 3-4 tenths quicker to than Doug. Mo just overcooking it, going through the bus stop. The gap did go down to about 4.9 seconds, now it's back up to 5.9. Just overcooking it, getting a poor run through the bus stop. it's much better to prioritise your speed through the corner rather than gain it all in the braking zone, just because the overcooking can lose easily a second, 2 seconds, depending on how deep you go. Braking it a tad bit earlier, making sure that you can hit the apex whilst carrying a good amount of speed can be better than trying to brake late and push the car to that. Meanwhile, an update for Tier 1 with them having 35 minutes to go. It is TSR Black still leading from Yere and Palmer. That is your top 3, with the fastest lap still being 36.2. Mouchelot still hasn't improved on his lap time, even though coming out the pits on fresh tyres. But I think when it comes to the middle of his stint, when the fuel has burned off a little bit more, he should be able to go a lot quicker. With a 17-second gap, I wouldn't be surprised seeing him going into the pits to make a splashing dash towards the end, because he does have considerable pace advantage over his fellow competitors. If we go and have a look at the most recent lap time, which is a 2:38.0 as he comes through the sector plate, is he faster? No, he's 1.3 seconds down, so he's had an issue going through this lap. This has cost him a heap of time. Go to Hair Raiser, who did a 39 dead last lap, so 1 second slower was Hair Raiser. If he was just keeping at his 38s, the gap would be stabilising out and possibly could make Mouchelot go to the end, but no, I think a nice splashing dash towards the finish for Mouchelot would be perfect, and even just help him get that fastest lap point even more, possibly even showing some of the split one guys how it's done. Late on the brakes into La Source, however it does give Bo a better exit. The gap is now down to 4.8 seconds, so 7 closers as they go into a Rouge and up to Radion. Pushing the car, losing the time, not getting that superior exit through the corner. Is it a penalty? Notice it just absolutely nails Radion. Just extending the time constantly. However, I wouldn't be surprised if Bo is trying to save the fuel, knowing that Hair Raiser's got to make another pit stop, so saving the fuel now, letting Hair Raiser go into the pits and having that fuel to be able to fight off what would be the charging Mercedes might really help him and get that P3, which a podium he very nearly had convincingly at the start of the race. Was lightning quick, possibly even matching Mouchelot, but now just seems to be starting to fall off the pace. Did do a 41.0 last lap, which made a big mistake going through the corner. However, Doug also did a 41.8, just not getting it hooked up now, losing far too much time to Hair Raiser now. If Hair Raiser's struggling now as well, it's just Mouchelot, the only one who's really just keeping it consistent. Superboy, we've missed a big moment for Superboy. He's almost 10 seconds slower on his fastest time. Possibly needs to turn up that traction control a little bit. He's just pushing himself far too much on corner exits. He just needs to be that little bit more patient going through the corner. We go to Bar, who is starting to get a bit of a gap to UTAP. who is ahead of Iapes. So, looking at it, maybe Bar might even jump Iapes and could keep that 6th place, as UTAP is still on that 50% fuel, unless... No, I don't think, even with a pit stop, I don't think that he could catch Bar and take that position. However, he could take Iapes' 7th position, net 7th. It's just how much he wants to try and go for that, so how much he wants it, how good he is. Go back to Bo, who is starting to put the pressure on Doug. Doug just still setting at 240, losing too much time to Bo. Doug got even less fuel, so can't be fuel saving. Just not hitting the apex, just making sure that he's keeping on the track, not giving him any issue to catch or save a spin. Just keeping it consistent, just making sure, just a little bit of slight correction going through the corners, just back end, not sticking with the Corvette today. Not keeping it planted, doesn't really want to stay where it is, stability's not quite there. Trying to see if it shows the engine mode. So in Doug, if you can see just beside the gear changes on the bottom right in like an orange box, that's his map. He is in map 1 and is pushing the car. And 37, 38, almost another 40 lap time, just keeps it within the 239s now. Starting to push the car. I think Bo is in map 4, which is possibly why he's keeping in the 239s, but that could be the difference between the end of the race. However, it's not saving that much fuel. That just shows how much this Corvette just wants to drink the fuel. It just goes down so quick, and it's always got to be monitored. Even when it is raining, it's still just drinking, especially at such a long track like Spa, with two long straights. And for Formula 1, it's 68% throttle around the whole track, whereas in the GT3s, it's probably about 53–54% throttle. But even that, around the track, that's a minute and 10 seconds, a minute and 20 seconds around this track, which they are on throttle and burning the fuel. The gap to Superboy is that 1 minute and 4 seconds. I think Superboy just having more and more issues, but he's starting to bring the lap times down a bit, ever so slightly. But will be coming into the pits, so the gap could easily be a 1 minute 30 gaps from P4 to P5. Just the back end of the grid struggling today by the looks of it, just can't really get the cars hooked up. Hoping next week can be a lot more competitive when it comes to them, trying to bring it to the boys at the front. Speaking of someone trying to push and get the P3 position is Bo. Just making sure that he's not putting shin too much to cause moments and counter steer and correct. He's just making sure that he's keeping it on the track, pushing the car. Bo and Doug just keeping the lap time similar now. No one's gaining, no one's not gaining. However, I think Doug didn't get the best through the bus stop, but he made sure he got that exit absolutely nailed. And he has done. Gaining a lot of time on such a short straight, about 6/10 of the gain. However, Bo just getting a better exit there through La Source. However, what looks like a fight, which I think UTAP has been passed, I've just missed that, it's so super unfortunate. But IPES in that P7, let me just check. No, UTAP is also has pitted, so either come out behind or he was in front and is now behind. But yeah, he did make the pit stop. Just missed that, sorry about that. But can't watch everything, unfortunately. Constantly stuck on Bo just to see if this charge is going to get him that P3 position. Doug has got a penalty, must have been going through Radion, which is the most likely place on this circuit for him to lose, not lose time, but get a penalty. As we're now only 20 minutes remaining, which is quite surprising for a 1.5 hour race. Started on time at 6:45. Mouchelot got that 23.3 second gap. Pushing the car quite a lot. Keeping it in the 30 seconds, keeping it consistent. Still making the gap bigger. Air Razor possibly going into the pits come the end of this lap. The gap to Bo from Hair Razor is 10 seconds. So that is the gap to watch out for right now, is the 10-second gap to Hair Razor, who will be going into the pits come this lap or next lap. Does he keep it held over to the right hand side? Yes, he does. He comes into the pits, making sure he gets pit entry nailed so he doesn't crash into the wall. And let's see where Bo comes out, or should I say where Hair Razor comes out in relative to where Bo is. Hair Razor probably wanted to take about 50% fuel, as Hair Razor has still not come out. Bo has got quite the gap to Hair Razor. By the looks of it, could be well in excess of 10 seconds, maybe even 15 seconds. Just come out on 88% fuel. I think he's overfueled by quite a lot right there. There's only about 7 or 8 laps to go, which Bo is Bo possibly goes in for a splash and dash, it might possibly could come out ahead of Hair Razor, but Hair Razor may have just messed up quite a bit on the fuel, and overfueling by at least a good 20% maybe, unless I'm just missing out on something and these guys have to pit in for quite a lot of fuel when it comes to pit stop. Bar just constantly getting it a bit slidey, doing some Formula Drift like I said before. But Mouchelot with the 31-second gap can pit. Doug is only coming through the quick chicane now, whereas Mouchelot is coming through Longchamp. Not using much of the entry asphalt, using plenty of the exit curve though. Does he keep it hand over to the right hand side? No, just keep it going. Got about 27% fuel left. Both losing time to Doug now. Doug still in back one. Bo now in back 3, so he should be going a lot quicker on the straights. And Razor will be in back 1 as they're showing. Oh, just they're saying he's not liking this heavy fuel here right now. For an onboard lap with Razor as he tries to chase Bo. But it's the last 14 minutes of the race. About 7 laps to go, maybe 6. Pushing the car to the limit on the exit of the corner as we go down to Eau Rouge. Steep climb this is, very steep indeed. Goes over Radio, over the curb. Kevel and down the Kevel Straight. Braking at 100, just before 100 metres, going through Les Combes. Keeping it held to the inside as it comes through Melbourne, however, just doesn't use much of the left-hand part of the circuit. Now here's the crucial corner in the second sector. Coming through Bruxelles, very hard to keep it stuck to the inside without trying to go in a bit faster. Didn't mess up, didn't overjudge. Comes out of no name. Plants the power, breaks at about the 50 board. Puon gets slight snap of oversteer on entry. Losing the time to Bo, so this strategy called from hair razor not paying off. 25% fuel remaining for Bo. I don't quite know what he's going to do, whether he's going to pit or just absolutely save this fuel. Doug on about the same. Michelot is on quite a lot less, even for the car like that, who you did see before had quite a bit more fuel saved compared to the rest of them. It's quite surprising, constantly right up the fuel. But yeah, he's got nothing to worry about. The only thing he has got to worry about is a disconnect. However, I do think Michelot is the host, so the rim will completely crash if that happens. Not pushing it too much. His last 4 laps have all been in the 37s, with another same lap time on lap 28 and 27 with a 37.695. It's the second time. Michelot's consistency has been amazing this race, really good. As I accidentally lean on my analog stick, and when I watch your Superboy, let's give him a bit of show time. Still showing that he is trying to push the most out of this car. It's a very difficult car to be quick in, is the Corvette. As there has been a change in the lead for Tier 1, Yere has got up into first position, which is I'm very happy about that, and Paul Viper has spun it or has binned it into after the source. Oh, that's unfortunate for him, as he did get recruited by STM about 2 or 3 hours ago after being told that he had to leave. Unfortunately, you know, it's done a full loop and he's come back, which is great to see. Yere is leading from TSR Black, going through the bus stop. Palmer and Tice for Sidemax Motorworks team, keeping it in 3rd and 4th, which could be a great points haul for them, being the junior team in this season of Tier 1, as Mouchelot is in the pits, strapping on a fresh new set of tyres, and will be going for the fastest lap. Not quite sure about this green pit crew. It is a bit weird, but nonetheless, Doug Merrow has come in. Bo is sticking out. Bo on about 15% fuel. He is in back 2, by the way, so he is burned up the fuel. Maybe he's noticed that he's going up for the end of the race. I don't think he has though. Doug is coming out. Hair Razor's lost quite a lot of time. He's put far too much fuel in. His teammate ahead has only put in 40%, whereas Hair Razor's well into the 60% fuel range, which might have been a misclick of he's pressed X and it's not cancelled him and he's just not realised, but that's unfortunate. Big slide from Superboy on the exit of P1. Bar up into 6th place, where I did say he could achieve, or he could get. And by the looks of it, he did splash and dash. He hasn't changed his tyres, which is what I did in a different league last in their Ferrari World Challenge. I did just stop for some fuel instead. I didn't change the tyres, but in the end it wasn't the best strategy to do, as it was very, very hard to keep the tyres in a good working condition. Just kept on losing time, so Bar might have just not got the right call there, but I would be surprised if he didn't pit for tyres on each stint, as his tyres are quite worn, so I wouldn't be surprised if he's just kept on the same tyres as he did start on, which would be very interesting. Good 5 seconds behind Bo, which possibly Bo just not keeping that speed that he did once have up, and he will have to go into the pits at the end of this lap. The question is, will he come out ahead of Hair Razor, as that will be the battle going into the last 7 minutes. We'll stick on Hair Razor as Bo is going into the bus stop chicane. And via the track map there is a drive into the pits, and that is Bo. So we'll stick on board Hair Razor as we see where he will come out. If he wants to risk it, not to take tyres and just take fuel towards the end, it might work out for him. Might even get him out ahead of Hair Razor by a good 5 seconds. Bo comes out, and he comes out just behind just behind Doug. Oh no, it isn't. Never mind. That is a different Corvette. Well then, I need to get the eyes checked. But he has come out ahead of Hair Razor. He is on the worn tyres, so it's most important that he does get rid of the Corvette that is behind him, and hopes that he does a stellar job. And Hair Razor has put Riley on, given the 5-10 penalty. Unfortunately, TSR Black has lost a lot of time towards Yere. Yere is starting to pick up the pace and has done the fastest lap of a 35.8, which is 9/10 quicker than our fastest lap right here for Tier 2. So if there's a benchmark for Bouchelot, it's a 35.8, which I think if Bouchelot gets a low 36, he could very well get a promotion to Split 1. Even with this traction control, he's still managing the throttle very well, keeping it cool, not pushing, not trying to spin up the rears. Don't think Bouchelot does use traction control, just think it's for the wet race, which I think that's what some of the other people do as well. They use traction control on one for the race in the wet. However, I do think it's faster if you keep it off, but it's a safety precaution, which, you know, it's allowed in GT3s. They have it in real life, they do have traction control as well as ABS, and like GT Sport, or should I say like real life, GT Sport has their own traction control mode of 1 to 5, whereas in real life some cars will have up to 11 traction control maps, which is what the Mercedes GT3 does, have 11 different traction control maps. Bo is starting to get pressured by Hair Raiser, and he does have a laps car ahead. Who is getting out the way for him, which is very good to see. In blue flag conditions, it's important that you do get out the way, especially when you're in the same category of car. If it was a slower car, it would be the Corvette that has to find a way past it. But when you are the same car, you know, it's important that you just move out of the way, let the faster car by. As we enter the final minutes of the race, which I think this is the penultimate lap. Yes, it is. Bouchelot, even with that 30-second advantage, has only got one more lap left in this race. But what stellar drive it has been from him. Absolutely perfect from start. Well, maybe not start to finish, but from about 1 hour and about 5 minutes onwards, he's controlled the pace, he's done what he's had to, and in an hour he's got out a 30-second gap, which I think anyone with endurance racing experience will say that 30-second gap in 1 hour is immense pace, super quick. Bouchelot not letting it go into fifth, absolutely taking the gears to the absolute max, just revving out the car and making sure that it uses all of that horsepower in that flat six. Bo. Ooh, Bo's just having a moment, and that means that Hair Raiser is going to start gaining the time on Bo, and he will only have 1 lap left. And I think if the gap's any bigger than 5 tenths going into the full stop chicane on the next lap, he will not have a chance. Because I know Hair Raiser, he will go for the dive if he sees it, and he will try it on the last lap, the last corner, just running slightly deep into the last corner when coming to overtaking, could be the difference between keeping your position or winning the race, or in this instance getting up into the podium positions, which Hair Raiser has got a good chance, especially with the fresher tyres. Carrying that little bit too much fuel. As we enter the final lap, we'll keep on board with Hair Raiser, keeping it held down, keeping the pedal to the metal. Just a bit too big of a gap towards Bo, who is trying to break the slipstream a bit of weaving down the straight. Who is up 300s on the fastest sector 1 time, which can Hair Raiser take this fastest lap on the last lap? I don't think he can. He just loses that too much time in this sector. As we go on to Michelot, who is coming through the final sector split for sector 2, comes through Stavolo. No issues. We go to Doug Barrow, who is sliding quite a bit. Sorry for that, but we see Michelot cross the line in P1 with a very commanding win after getting up into P1. So we go to Hair Raiser, who is now under a second. Gap just gaining, Bo getting a better exit. We just go to Doug Barrow just ahead, who will come home in P2 without any big issues, whether it's a spin or a disconnect. Solid race from Doug, probably wanted to be that little bit quicker. However, for the first of 3 races of the endurance, first of 3 endurance races, he's done a stellar job to keep it in second, and Bo finishes third ahead of Hair Raiser, just getting that podium that he deserved after showing that immense pace at the start. We go to Bar, who will finish P6. However, Ipes right on the back of him, but he had a penalty which he had to take. Ipes very nearly getting P6 then. UTAP right behind. Could have come home in 8th position. Unfortunate race. Think he's just going to finish without... Yeah, he just ran out of the field before the finish. Driver of the day, I would say 100% Michelot. Absolutely lethal pace throughout the whole race. But at a close second, definitely Bo. Or Bo, sorry. Bo. What a stellar drive for him, just to keep it ahead of Hair Raiser. But now, I'm going to interview everyone. Or, not everyone, the top 3. Let's try and find him. Hello, Doug.
Alright, Small, how you doing?
I'm doing well, how are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. Good, thank you. Well done, Michelot, mate. Good race, Bo.
Yeah, Michelot's still joining for me, I can't hear him. Hello? Oh no, there we are. Hello, Moosh. There we are. Right, we'll start with our last podium place, which is Bo. What a race that was!
Yeah, that was mega. Close racing by everybody. That was fantastic. You often think in the wet, everybody's just going to pile into each other into the first corner, but that was great. A lot of space given, a bit of rubbing, but I think that was all fair. I don't think anybody was too upset. No, it was fantastic. Great chase by was it Doug? I don't know who was behind me, but that was fantastic. Those last few laps were absolutely Razor. That was absolutely unreal.
Yeah, it did look like it was going to come close. I didn't know if you were going to try and push the fuel to the end. I was looking on board your car, seeing what map you were in, and it seemed to me that during the second to last stint, you were using like map 3, I think, possibly.
I was going up and down. I was trying to maintain the gap to at least within 5 seconds, thinking that if he pits and I've got a lap in hand, I'll undercut. Well, I'll spend less time in the pits, and I wasn't going to change tyres, trying to jump out ahead, which worked out in the end.
Yeah, I also noticed that Hair Race did overfuel on his pit stop, which possibly could have been the reason why you've managed to stay ahead of him. So without him overfueling.
Well, I overfueled by a lap as well, just in case the game was lying to me and I couldn't math whilst racing. So no, that was fantastic. Me and Hair Race, that was a fantastic battle, and again with the guys up above, Shema couldn't keep touch with them a bit closer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, a great race from you. Congrats on P3, and we'll move on to Doug, who did get P2. We started on his own for the final stint, but can you speak us through that stint, the first stint? Everyone's so close. What an amazing race, an amazing battle it must have been.
The first stint was a good battle, yeah. I was hoping to stay with Mush. I know he was different class today, so congratulations to him. He was at least a second quicker than the rest of us, so that was never going to happen. But I wanted to try and keep in contact with at least in the top 3, if you see what I mean. I managed to do it in the third stint. I kind of did what Bo did, which was I was watching my gap to him and trying to watch my gap to Razor as well, and trying to keep about 5 seconds in between the two. So I was dropping down to fuel map 5 at times, and then when Bo started to catch up a bit, I'd bring it back up to like 2 or 1 or 3, and just trying to get that little bit of an undercut on the splash and dash, no tyre change, just in and out and go. It's a long fuel stop on that track.
It is. Like on the timing screen when it said like you were a 5-second difference, when you actually put it in real time, when you're coming out the pits, like even with the difference of 5 seconds, you could like be only 5 seconds behind. It's a bit weird. I don't really like it, but it's a bit confusing.
You pull into the pits, it goes dark on you, and you look at your pit crew for about 3 or 4 seconds. You're like, "Come on, get in there!"
Yeah.
So it's a long one, but yeah, it worked out right. I managed the gap to third. Shame for Razor, my teammate. Obviously, he had a good battle, and if he hadn't have overfueled, things might have been a little bit different. I think what he said to me was he overfueled a lot. So
yeah, it must have been about 20 or 30% he overfueled.
He probably had another 3 laps in him, which is a shame, but happy for me because he probably would have come out ahead of me in that state, because I think I let him get away a bit too much. But no, happy with second. Mooshlot crushed it. You can't ask for better than second in that situation.
Yeah, absolutely. But great race from you. We'll move to the winner, which is Mooshlot, who, by the way, had a commanding race. But you did have a struggle getting away at the start and did sort of get bullied past. And it was sort of just a bit of a recovery from there. Do you want to speak through your first stint recovery to get back up into first?
Yeah, horrible start. To go down to 4,000 lead, but then Superboy came through quite aggressively, and that quite annoyed me. So I managed to get past him within half a lap, and then I probably stayed in fourth like 4 or 5 laps, and then I think I ghosted through Hair Race, which was unlucky because he had a penalty. But still, I think I had good drive out of the turn, so I think I still overtook him. and then I think Bo ran dog wide into Lecom, I think it was. I managed to slip up inside of both of them and then got around those. And then, well, I got past Doug, but then I think I was still another lap behind Bo, so I managed to overtake him. And from then on, I just managed to make a gap. And I managed to settle into my rhythm really well, which I'm happy about.
Yeah, I don't know if you knew, but twice, not once, but twice, 2 laps consecutively, you set the same time.
For fastest lap?
Yeah, but no, there was like 2 laps straight, I think. I think it was like 28 and 27, you set like the identical lap time of I think it was like a 37.675 or something like that, the same lap, but you did it twice.
Oh, right, okay.
It was
I didn't realise that.
It was mad. I was so surprised. Like, just your consistency throughout the race and managing the pace was insane.
I surprised myself, to be honest. It's probably one of the best races I've ever driven, to be fair.
Yeah, at one point you were only 5/10 away from Tier 1 fastest lap.
Jeez.
Yeah. But yeah, you ran an amazing race, you were really quick, and you did everything right, and congratulations on your win.
Thank you.
So that is it for SRS GT3 Tier 2. I'll give you a quick rundown of the top 3 in Tier 1. It was SMM Yere, and then followed by TSR Black, and then SMM Palmer rounded out the top 3. Great job to them, and obviously great job to the lads here in the 1.5 hour endurance. Good luck to everyone next race. I don't know where it is. Probably should have had a look. But other than
I don't know either.
other than that, it's goodbye for another week. We shall be back next week, same time, maybe a little bit later. But yeah, see ya.